It's the one without the wheels cut.
Rules. That's called the meeting order. Our meeting on June 4th, 2024. As we gather today, I'd like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and the community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of our Algonquin people. We'd like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of confidence. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Just a few comments. The mayor's address. Good evening, everyone. Tonight I have some follow-up comments regarding our budget presentation from last council meeting. We are facing a very critical time. What matters more than anything right now is how we move forward, because the bottom line is our provisional budget shows us spending more than $1 million more than our revenue. We balanced our budget based on a combination of the tax increase and taking dollars out of our reserves again. It's time for council and staff to review our spending in depth and make changes where we can and seriously look at new revenue streams. Everything has to be on the table, and we have to take this endeavor on as a team. We must all contribute as part of this difficult process. So I'm calling for a finance meeting for June 24th to get things started. I'll be sending out an agenda prior to the meeting. A reminder that the meeting is open to the public, and in the spirit of transparency, I'm asking council to agree to having all future finance meetings broadcast on YouTube so the public can follow along at their convenience. Looking ahead to next year, it's clear that we must be proactive now to prepare for the future. Now, I will go over what I've been doing since our last meeting. May 23rd, went to an Irish gathering meeting, and it seems like it's progressing very well. Thank you, Marlon, for all your work. On the 25th, I went to Mild to Wild mini event. It was a fundraiser for the food bank, and it was an outstanding event. I didn't realize how many different kinds of hot sauces there are. The 28th, there was an emergency management meeting. The 29th, county council. There was a presentation from the senior women living together, which was just an outstanding presentation, which everyone has received the document, I believe, Tammy has mailed out. June the 1st, it was the opening of the farmers market, and also on that day, the kickoff for the pickleball season. Just wondering if they ever have a tournament, maybe the council could put a team in for pickleball in. Plus talking with numerous repairs regarding the tax increase and vision to other topics. Does anyone have any pecuniary or financial interest in play? And now we move on to our delegation. Hello, Marianne.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Okay, I'm trying to get my camera to work, but I'm remote and it's not allowing me, so I'm trying to see if I can get in on my computer here at the same time as my phone, but
There appears to be technical difficulties all around tonight.
I apologize. I'm not trying to not show my face, but at least you can hear my voice.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect.
Oh
Yeah.
So we've invited you because we have a couple of concerns, and I'm going to the first order of business will let Councilor McMillan talk first.
Okay, hi Marianne.
Hi there.
Hi, so So you kind of got brought up in our concern about all of the overdoses that have occurred in our town. And we're obviously seeing a rise in deaths and an uptake in drug abuse in our communities. The Valley Gazette did an amazing article, kind of really encouraging citizens to call the police. So I guess, you know, my question for you, because that article kind of came up after we invited you, is just what can we as citizens and concerned community members and counselors do in regards to these situations and this uptake that we're seeing in our small town?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Counselor. So what I can tell you is that the best thing to do is to report any use of drugs that you're witnessing. I know a lot of times people think, oh, well, I don't want to bother the police with that kind of like small incident, but all incidents potentially can be linked to together. And so what I ask is that you encourage your constituents to be able to report anything that they're seeing in terms of drug use. The second thing that I would suggest is that if anyone is seeing any signs of someone with an overdose, is that they're calling 911 immediately. In the last month and a half, since the kind of back to back, or very close within about 2 week period, we had 2 deaths in Killaloe from suspected overdoses. And what we've done is we've gone and handed out our rack cards, and what those are is a card that specifically describes what the Good Samaritan Act is. And it encourages people to call 911 as soon as they may see somebody that's suspected of an overdose. And unfortunately, sometimes individuals who may be directly around or closely intertwined with people who are using drugs and more prone to a suspected overdose are hesitant at times to be calling the police, but the Good Samaritan Act allows them to call the police, and it prevents them from, you know, being charged with drug use if they were involved in it. So we've gone to all of the local pharmacies, we've gone to some of the local businesses, and handed out those rack cards and made them available. We also have them available with the officers, and while they're out on foot patrols and community events, we're asking them to hand them out at those events that they're at. The other thing that we've done since that time is our detachment specifically has been a location that we have naloxone available. And what we're doing is we have those kits available, and anybody who comes into our interactions, whether that be arrested or calls for service that we're going to, we're handing out naloxone to those members of the public who potentially could benefit from that. We have to be careful on how we hand those out because we don't want to stereotype individuals, but we're trying to make it more readily accessible. Because what we found in our foot patrols and handing out the rack cards to the pharmacies is a lot of people don't want to be associated with getting naloxone because it's free to any individual in the community, but they have to provide their health card number, and they feel that that's a sense of somebody gathering information about them that they've gotten that. So we don't take that information. We give it to the individual or someone at a call for service that we feel might benefit from it. And we've been finding that we've been able to hand out some kits to people who may benefit from it, and it's a preventative method. So all those things to say is report any drug use that you see. Don't hesitate to call 911 if you see a suspected overdose. And, you know, our community safety officer from regional headquarters has been to a couple of the schools doing some different topics, but I would encourage any of your schools that you have, if they wanted to do a drug presentation, to get a hold of our office, and we can try and make that arrangement. If not this school year, obviously we only have a few weeks left, but we can arrange for some in the fall for September.
Awesome. Yeah, I think one of our like one of the things that came up is that I think in small towns like ours, we do well. Most of the citizens know who the drug, you know, who the people are who are kind of like pushing some of these drugs, but I think there is a real fear for people to call. Like people don't want to make that call. Also because we are a small town, right? You don't call the cops necessarily on your neighbors, but I think that
yeah, and that's a really good point. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. It's hard to hear. That's a really good point that you've made. And in a tight knit community, or where there's a smaller number of individuals, that is something that we often hear of. Even locally, You know, to your east in Algonquin-Pikwakanagan, they've declared that state of emergency. And we've done presentations on Crime Stoppers. And for that particular situation, man, that you've just described, I would highly encourage your community members to use Crime Stoppers. It's completely anonymous, and that's a really good way to provide very specific drug information, especially if they don't want to be known that they are the ones who provided it, and there would be no follow-up to them. So that's another thing. If your community could benefit from a presentation on Crime Stoppers, I know in Pikwakanagan, a lot of community members didn't really understand how Crime Stoppers works. And where I'm from in Upper Ottawa Valley, we get a lot of tips from that, but I find in the outer areas, in the valley, it's not used as prevalently as it could be, and definitely in a small community where you want to remain anonymous, that's a really good avenue to give very specific information. And all of the tips are always what is the word I'm looking for? They're always vetted, sorry. And therefore, if there's anything that could give away the person that has provided the information, they won't relay that tip, because they always want to make sure 100% safety of the people that are giving the tips.
Amazing.
That's a really good bit of information, because that would be important to put in maybe in our newsletter so that we can publicize that. That story that you just brought up about using Crime Stoppers, and there's no.
Yeah, and if you wanted, I might be able to provide like a quick little blurb on, you know, the basics of Crime Stoppers. I'll check in with Sean Pieper, who's my in Upper Ottawa Valley, my community safety officer, and he's the head of Crime Stoppers in the county. And he might be able to just give like a small paragraph that you could include in that newsletter if it was helpful.
That would be great.
No, that's all I had for you, Marianne, but I'll throw it over to everybody else in the room and co-councilors to see if there's anything they wanted to talk about.
Does anyone else have anything, Brian?
Yeah, I do have a question. It's totally different. It's regarding the garbage. So we do for the past a number of years, we've done a garbage cleanup day. And I'm just wondering, is there a record, or has there been any charges laid for littering in our zone here at Killaloo or Hageling Richards in the last 4 or 5 years? And what is the rate of that? Is it, you know, do we get 1 or 2 every year or every month, or?
I would
We're
definitely
still finding
say
a lot of garbage out on the roads, even though we're picking tons of it every year.
yeah. I mean, do officers lay a lot of littering charges? I would say they're minimal. If you wanted specific data, if you had someone send me an email, I could check for you on how many charges in the last, say, 5 years have been laid for littering. Littering is one that it's hard to find unless they leave a piece of, you know, evidence that relates back to them. So, you know, if they happen to throw out a bag of garbage that has a bunch of their bills or something in it. Otherwise, unless someone actually saw and reported it becomes hard to find people committing that offense, right? So it is very challenging for a lot of people who, not just in your municipality, but, you know, you live in an area where it's not as populated. Therefore, it's a lot easier to do things without people seeing.
Yeah, I
But
was just
I don't know.
curious because I read the OPP report every week, and I've yet to see one reported in there, which I was thinking if there was such charges laid and it was put in the paper, it may deter other people from doing it.
Yeah, definitely. If there was one, we could make sure that we did a news release on it for sure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just have one more question for you, Marianne.
Sure.
So it's probably the question you get the most often asked question, and that's in our county, everyone is talking about speed. We have 2 county roads, Simpson Pit Road and County Road 58. And Simpson Pit Road has just been recently paved, I think last year, the completion of it. And
Okay.
it's no longer just a county road, it's like a freeway.
Yes.
And which I'm sure you're very well aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And County Road 58, of course, that again was a very treacherous road as far as speed. And I know you've had a number of officers watching for the speed. Is there anything else that we can do? I know we've been talking about this since the term of this council. Can we do anything to help you, or can you add more speed traps or whatever to slow it down?
Well, so what I would say, what is the most helpful and what I see as the most successful for speed calming is if your municipality is willing to purchase any of the Black Cat type of speed monitoring devices. So there's a couple of different options. There's ones that will capture data in a box where it's not visible to the public, so you get very accurate data, and then it gives us a very targeted time frame of when is the most violation happening, and then officers can designate specific timings for focus patrols, because obviously you all understand we can't be everywhere and we can't be all things to everyone. But a lot of the municipalities where I currently work in Upper Ottawa Valley, the city of Pembroke, the town of Petawawa, as well as the township of Laurentian Valley, they all have these monitoring devices, and they're highly effective, especially in areas that for example, 58, when you come into, say, Round Lake, where it goes down to a 60 to a 50, and there is a significant amount of traffic starting right now through till the end of the fall, and you really want those areas to be minded those lower speeds. I don't know if you guys have considered purchasing any of those, but I would say that those are the biggest types of speed calming devices that are beneficial to us, as well as they can also provide data counts for yourselves for different things on counts on vehicles and whatnot. And it also gives directions. You can make them movable, so you can put them in different places around your community. And then you can transfer that. And usually what happens is every month, whatever roadway that the speed device was placed on, then a report gets developed and sent to the OPP so that we can monitor it and take a look and say, is this a significant speeding concern at this time? If it is, then we put forward a more intensive focus patrol versus just our regular areas of patrol.
I know of favorite places besides St. Casimir's Church. Your officers have had a lot of success at that point.
Yep.
Do they move along like farther down Round Lake Road to toward Pembroke, to other locations also? Because it seems like where there's straightaways, that's where the speed really picks up.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, is your question that are our officers moving throughout Round Lake, or are you asking if you should place something further down?
I was asking if your officers move around also.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And again, I encourage, like, if you have a specific time and date where you're having concerns, or you're having members of the community report to you to say, hey, I witness this every day at school bus time. I know we're moving out of school bus time very shortly, or I witness this, every morning and evening because it's commuting times, then call that in. It's not a 911 call, but if you use the 1-888-310-1122 number, it helps us to generate information that gives us direction on where we need to be. Because obviously we can't be everywhere, but if we have specific concerns, we always follow up on what those different traffic complaints are to the best of our abilities. And you are correct. Highway 58 is or County Road 58, sorry, is a roadway that is heavily traveled, and there's a lot of travelers that are well above the 80 kilometers posted speed limit.
Yeah. So we have a couple more questions.
Hi,
Sure,
Mary.
go ahead.
Hi, Mary Ann, Councillor Carl Keel. What I would like you to do someday is just sit on Queen Street coming into Kinlough from Rudnell side.
Okay.
I guarantee you that 1 person out of 20 speeds through there. I mean, 20 of them speed and 1 drives normal.
Yeah, it drops down to, is it a
It's
50
just
it drops down to there?
Pardon?
I think it drops down to a 50 there, eh?
40.
Oh, 40, okay.
I live on Queen Street, right where they come down over the hill. And I guarantee you, no one drives the speed limit. I'd just like to see a couple of days if you could be there, and they'll put out some tickets and maybe they'll slow down.
Sure, that's no problem. We can definitely make that a priority if you feel that it's a big concern for sure.
Thank you very much.
I think we have one more question.
Yeah, my question is, since those speed devices are so beneficial to you guys, to the OPP, would the OPP ever consider purchasing a few of them and putting them out? Collecting the data on your own instead of, our budget's very tight.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have money to buy them, and we wouldn't be able to purchase it
But we
for
give
a
you money
specific.
every month. Lots of it.
Years ago, we used to have one, but it was well out of service, and we couldn't get the like the technical side updated anymore. It was way past due. So I don't actually know where that came from. And that was many, many years ago, probably at least 10, 15 years ago. And I, like I said, I don't know where it actually came from, but that one we used to post in different locations. And it was one of the ones that weren't visible, but I don't know if you've seen like which ways you would come into like Pembroke area, but there's one there that's on Broome Road. Like you would come up Brown Lake Road, and that one there, that has a significant impact. We used to have a lot of trouble there with speeding, and since that one is there, it has had a significant impact on reducing the speed. And it really, I mean, some people, you might get the odd person who's just trying to see how fast they can race it up, but the majority of the people really abide by it. Now they've made that one a permanent one, but they have some other ones that are movable, and that's my suggested one, the ones that you can move around. So I recognize if you don't have it in your budget, but if you don't have the option to do that, then I would suggest, continuing to keep a list of complaints, or as the complaints come in, provide them directly to us, because if we don't have that information, then there's not a lot we can do about the speeding, and our officers do the best to hit the, areas that we know to be the high speeding areas, like 58, 60, and then other areas of concern that we get called in by our other municipalities.
Any other questions? Well, Marianne, thank you very much for giving us the time, and you've answered a lot of our questions, and thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me. And I just wanted to, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I got confirmation from our regional headquarters that I will for sure be in Killaloe until mid-September. So just in case that information hasn't come forward to you, that I will be here till then. And in the time for the next 3 months or so, if there's anything that I can be of assistance to, don't hesitate to email me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have and work with you for whatever needs your community has.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, take care, folks. I apologize, my camera couldn't work.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Motion for the previous minutes of the previous meeting.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Maureen McKenna, motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 21st, 2024, open and closed session.
Questions or concerns or discussion? Just like to make up one point from the minutes. A clarification for her in regards to her question in regards to county council. I just want to be a little more specific as far as what transpires at county council, and that there are 5 standing committees: 1 community service, 1 health, development of property, operations and finance and administration. So there's 5 committee meetings, and on every committee the warden sits, and it ranges between 5 and 7 people sitting on each committee. And what I mean by people is councillors or mayors of other communities. If there was ever a vote in county council, Killaloe Richards receives 8 votes. That's what we're worth, is 8 out of 208. So it's based on population, so that's what we hold, 8 votes. Also, there is a striking committee, which is 5 councillors and the warden. The warden is on every committee. There are 12 external boards that a member sits on. There is 1 county council meeting per month. So basically, every councillor or mayor attend a minimum of 40 meetings per year. And with those committee meetings is not every member of council sits on every committee meeting. So there's 5, 7 people other mayors that sit on those council or those committee meetings. Okay, that's just to clarify what you brought up last week.
Right.
So, take for example, in myself, I sit on community services and finance and administration. So I attend both of those meetings plus the county council and any other meetings that occur. And then I bring that back to our council and we go from there. Okay,
But you're not at all of the county meetings. Only if it's your.
correct. So like that meeting that you attended, I wasn't part of that committee, so I was unfair.
I see.
I know you were looking for it.
Yes.
Okay, next time we vote, right? Vote. All those in favor? Carry. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
And over to.
Okay, regular road maintenance continues, grading, cold patching, etc. Sweeping has been completed. We started our winter stand. We should have it completed by hopefully next week sometime. June 10th and 11th is when we'll be receiving our calcium for dust suppressant on the gravel roads. Trade show, we'll be going tomorrow, leaving tomorrow for the trade show in Cornwall for AOR's the trade show. Just to let council know too, there's been a lot of vandalizing lately at our parks and play structure. Dale had to go fix one of the play structures there. We had to tape it off the one day and the next day he had to fix them. They were trying to tear the swing apart and all this other stuff. So that's been repaired. And then we had a few issues with the water and the water fountain there at one Sunday. And then there's another tap over further. We just tapped it so we don't have to worry about that anymore. But there's been water going everywhere. So just to council, if people ask, there's been a lot of, I know it's not just this area, but just to let council know what the structure. Queen Street Bridge, it's now been moved to first week in July roughly. So they won't be putting up stoplights. I talked to them because I remember before I discussed, I think with council saying maybe we could put up, like if they put up stoplights like for Lake Street, kind of as a detour, and it might be backed up, but at least, you know, we wouldn't have that congestion. They said there's not, I didn't think there would be, but they said, no, there'd be no way, just the way the intersection is, it'd be hard to do that. So I need an answer from council tonight. What are we gonna do? We're gonna block both sides off, one side off, no sides off, just put signs up, give, like I think Maureen said before, we'll just give a notification like flyers or whatever to the businesses, just so that they know that, you know, trucks come in. So I'd like to move on that, because then we could put, if we are closing one side, I need to contact our sign guy to get him to make a sign, both ends, plus the flyers has to be it.
Okay. Comments?
Just past the line saw there, you know, the house right on the corner there?
Yep.
They park their truck right on the street half the time there. You know, where you come around the corner,
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Burgundy half ton there. Can we put a sign up? This side of it, no parking here to corner or something? Cause they stick right out, you have to go way around to go around the corner, sitting on the street all the time.
This is just a temporary, just like if we put a sign up like on both ends, like on Queen and Lake Street. And then Cameron, like over near Cameron Street and Lake Street. That would have to be, a bylaw would have to be passed if you wanted a permanent sign there.
Cause they park right on the street.
That it'd have to be a bylaw, because there'd be no way to enforce it.
Around the corner.
You could put a sign up, but then if
There's a
they,
driveway right below where they open.
Yeah. But that would have to be, if you wanted to take down the line, that would have to be put in the bylaw.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I think we have to close one side. Like the other so I was down there today with the thing truck and it's. Thing lots of small truck, There's cars parked on both sides, there's room for one vehicle, that's it. So I don't think we should close two, I hadn't thought that earlier, but we need parking on the street for handicapped people and older people access stuff, I think we should be closing inside on line south side. Because more of the businesses are on.
Yeah, cause a lot of like handicap, like you said, Ted, there goes to IDA to get
Yeah.
prescriptions and stuff like that. Funeral home, yeah.
Yeah, I also tried to be there with them to let large vehicles like logging trucks, logging trucks. And it's really tight, and it's gonna be a tough drive, tough curve, even for with no parking to get around that curve. It's gonna be tough, and you know, so. So I guess we do a motion.
Actually, yeah, we don't need enough.
Okay, suggestion would be to close the one side and the line side.
The left hand side.
Hardware store right to.
Right, the hardware store right to
Right to
the
the
corner.
right to
Right to
the right to the bridge.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I guess right to the
Right
bridge,
to the
sure.
church, yeah.
And then, so what? That's fine for that, but what about, sometimes people park, you know, like. In that parking lot between the hardware store and the friendship house.
Yes.
So they can still access it, but sometimes there's enough of an overflow if they go. Over, like that, you can't do that, right?
Yeah, be on the paved section.
On the page
Can we put a
section.
couple pylons up there or something, keep people from parking?
I put barrels there because pylons, they just get tossed.
Okay, yeah,
But the bigger barrels, they're like, you know,
yeah, put something there to,
they'll be knocked over almost every day with the.
I know.
Is everybody okay with that then? That's
close that side again.
even though it's gonna affect your parking spot?
It's gonna affect all of our parking spots.
Okay,
But again, if
We have a public parking up there, parking.
I know.
all those in favor? Yeah, we're good. Question for you, Dean, and to ask. Whatever the company is gonna be doing it, where are they gonna park? And like, will they have vehicles overnight,
well, they'll probably end up just barricading it off at,
park within?
yeah, I would presume,
Okay.
I presume that's really
Specifically,
not
I'm
up to me.
talking about the weekends, like if they leave vehicle or machinery, that type of thing. Because in case we have events at the, in the park. That could take, if they use that park,
We'll just have to keep an eye on it.
Oh, no, simple as that, yeah, no,
They'll say it's going to be a problem.
There's probably be a few machinery that will do that.
yeah, that's.
It won't be the vehicles, won't be there, the trucks and all of that.
I think the biggest thing would be generators and,
Yeah.
for the bridge work, like, I don't think there'd be, like, maybe the odd, forklift or something, but I'm sure that's gonna be inside their site.
It'll all be close to the bridge and looking up and all right through town.
No, unless like, yeah,
No, I was just talking about the parking lot beside the post office.
Yeah, there won't be even stuff there. They'll leave it in their own where they're working.
yeah, that's what they usually do. Okay, so, the boat ramp there where the cement had fell through, has been repaired. My suggestion, I think Tyler had mentioned, I think to council as well, that we should maybe get some kind of an engineer to come in and take a look at it. Cause it's not getting any better. Just to make sure, cause it's concrete and there's bigger boats like tandem boats that are backing down, like tandem trailers, I mean. That are backing down, so it's probably best to get some kind of an engineer to come in and take a peek at it, because. We could, like I said, we patched it, it's gonna hold up, but just down the line, you know yourself, the coal patch doesn't last as long as cement.
You saying this year or next year? Right away or?
Well, I would suggest get some engineer to come in, because I forget, Tyler did mention that he knew somebody that would come in for, I forget what did he tell you, Tammy, do you remember? I can't remember the cost, but it wasn't very much, just to maybe to say that it's safe, make sure that it's safe, 100% safe kind of thing.
That's a good idea.
Are you looking for direction?
Yeah,
You're just gonna do it.
well, I probably should just do it, but I just
Uh-huh.
want direction.
I think you should do it this
Yep.
year.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay, dock extensions. We had purchased them a couple of years ago, the two sections or whatever. I thought we'd be able to just move that section out and put the posts, those new, the screw down posts, like the pilot posts, like the augers, down into the ground. But there's too much friction with the waves, so we're gonna need more posts. So I got a quote, the guy finally got back to me, because I think you talked about that or whatever last council meeting when I wasn't here or whatever. So I got a quote for all the stuff that we need, and without tax, it's gonna be $3,800. And that wasn't plugged into the budget this year.
You can take that out of Parks and Recreation.
That was extra above what we had ordered before, is that?
Cause we got the two dock sections, Brian, but I thought like those posts, we could move them out. And then just leave those two other sections kind of floating there, cause there's four posts right now that holds it down. But I thought we'd be able to move it out, but I think if we put those together, I think with the waves
So this
especially.
is all basically hardware to install the new sections.
Yes, it's the two galvanized, 21-foot long pipe. So they cut them and then they add on the drill bits, like the auger bits for it, and then the brackets that hold on to it, and the delivery charge.
So I don't think we have much choice. If we have the dock, we have the sections, what are we gonna do with them if we can't install them?
So if we were to order those now, would they be installed this year?
Just depends on availability. I never asked for availability. I just got them to send me a quote. I can't see it being too big of a deal. Like if I ordered it, well, we're going to the conference, but if I order it next week or whatever, I can't see there being too big of an issue with it. He had the docks in stock before, so I can't see the hardware being.
You must have the hardware.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Well, it sounds to me like it's a matter we have to do.
Okay.
Right? I mean, anyone disagree? Exactly.
What are we gonna do with the docks?
Yes. Exactly. So we're in the process of, for the grate that goes in at the boat launch as well. We're in the process of with MNRF with the permit. So we're in the process with that. So does the council know?
So now we're probably meet for the fall,
I presume.
when the water's going down again.
Yeah, I presume. Yeah. Then Tammy had printed you out the memo with regarding to defenders. Did council get a chance to look at them?
You're doing good.
Well, I just wanted to compare, I have it written in my notes from 2021 when we did Traymore Road. It's pretty much the exact same job. It's 1.7 kilometers, basically the same as Byers Creek Road. Back then, BEI got the contract. It was 265,000 compared to this contract here, which is the lowest one, is 208,360. So
I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's what I thought, because I said to me, that doesn't sound right, but
Is the thickness of asphalt
same thing. Exactly the same width, exactly the same shouldering.
The county roads are going to be decreased.
No, they're the exact same job.
Dean, who did the paving on that Red Rock Road from the bridge across there?
That was BI
BEI?
last, or when was 2023, I believe. Second, scribbling. Yeah. No, 22, sorry. It was late. Yeah, I just look back at my notes. I was just, holy moly, like that was good. It's way under my budget what I quoted it for.
Okay, let's go through brush gravel. We have a motion.
So normally what you have to do is you have to read out all of the quotes, so I'm not sure if Dean, you wanna read out the top part.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so the first, it's crushed gravel granular tender, KHR 012024. WW Siegel Sand and Gravel, contract price $129,544 without tax. Applicable taxes $16,840.72. Total contract price $146,300. $384.72. BEI contract price $137,268. Applicable taxes $17,844.84. Total contract price $155,112.84. GP Splinter contract price $145,884. Applicable taxes $18,964,092. Total contract price $164,848.92. McCray contract price $149,400. Applicable taxes $19,422. Total contract price was $168,822, and that's for KHR 01-2024 A gravel granular A. My recommendation would go with the lowest tender, which is $129,544 without tax. Okay, so the second,
Moved by Smith, second by Harold Levine, that council for the township of Killeen, Hagerty and Richards accepts the tender from WW Seagull Sand and Gravel of Pembroke, Ontario in the amount of $129,544 plus applicable taxes in the amount of $16,840.72 for a total amount of $146,384.72 for tender KHR 01-2024 crushed gravel granular A 3/4 inch.
All those in favor? Carried.
okay, so next one is Byers Creek Road tender KHR 02-2024. Remove all asphalt and replace with hot mix paving. Greenwood paving, contract price $208,360. Applicable taxes $27,086.80. Contract price total $235,446.80. BEI contract price $214,831.24. Applicable taxes $27,928.06. Total contract price is $242,759.30. Walls contracting contract price $240,376. Applicable taxes is $31,248.88. Total contract price is $271,624.88. My recommendation would be the lowest tender as well. For Greenwood paving for Byers Creek Road tender KHR 02-2024.
Questions? Yes.
Are we looking for a cheap price or quality? I'm sorry, Greenwood paving did Mill Street here and it did last one, the two.
That was that little bit in the park. On Mill Street.
No, but I'm just saying the whole thing didn't last very long. And I don't know, but all the rest of the BI of course has been great as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. It's up to you, but.
That's why I was asking who did that one. That one's
But
good.
but this one here, you gotta realize, Carl, I think you had seen that as well. You seen how much on Mill Street that they had to go down.
I know.
Like there's rocks and there's everything on.
I'm not talking about the old hill, we did that before, but. I don't know, it's up to you, but. I don't. It's up to you. I don't know.
Well, if you bring up a good point, is there any other discussion on it?
Brian, what do you, they did Tremor Road there, and, whatever.
Greenwood did Church Street though for us as well.
Oh,
No, I'm just putting that out there. They did Greenwood, and that was almost two point some kilometers with side gutters and everything on it too. So
What about last summer? Who did the golf course road there?
that BI
BI.
got Hillcrest and Stone Church.
So Dean's recommendation is for Greenwood paving. All those in favor?
To read the resolution.
Sorry.
Moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Harold Levine, that council for the township of Killeen, Hagerty and Richards accepts the tender from Greenwood Paving of Pembroke, Ontario in the amount of $208,360 plus applicable taxes in the amount of $27,086.80 for a total amount of $235,446.80 for tender KHR 02-2024 to remove old asphalt and replace with hot mix paved on Byers Creek Road.
All those in favor? Let's see you show of hands again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. I remember each other.
No. Okay, so, Tammy provided, we met with, the guy and Ted had met, and we met them down there or whatever at the trade show and, conference in Toronto. So he came today, he met with Tammy and myself regarding the, PTO fuel tax, it's called, for our equipment. You can take a look over it or whatever, and then see what you guys think about it. But just to give you a little bit of a kind of a heads up or whatever kind of thing. So it's 40%. So we have to keep track of our fuel. So each truck has to have a logbook in it. We don't have to put any special pumps on or nothing like that to monitor it. So just say, for instance, you put 200 liters in at the end of the day, mileage, 200 liters. They keep track of all the mileage, because I think he said it was 1.8 liters per kilometer, or I don't know, he had it figured out kind of thing, calculated it down. But he can go back 4 years, as long as we have our logbooks, he can go through the mileage. Because it's only the 410 and plows with Sanders with anything with a PTO in it. And it has to be clear fuel. It can't be, because like it can't be the tractors, it can't be the loader. It's only the clear fuel. Like even with the gas, you can't have that with the half. The road, yeah, basically the road stuff. He had mentioned too, if councils agree, fire department, they could jump on board with that. You know, and to see kind of whatever, you know, keep track of their fuel as well. And they, like I said, they can go back 4 years. So then like you'll see in the package there, so it's 40% recovered from them plus HST, and then we would get the remaining. So what it's like, if you got $1,000 or $1,000 or whatever like that, so we would get 60% of, close to 60% of the 1,000.
Don't cost us.
Well, they're charging us 40%.
I know, but
Yeah.
there's no cost for the.
Ahead of time.
No, like he doesn't set anything like set up in the pumps or nothing like that.
Cause when I talked to him in Toronto, that's what he said, like. It's almost like a lawsuit, the lawyer doesn't take money until he wins.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, so we're not going to put any money out front. And we're going to
$60 on it.
well, we get $100 back, it's $100. We do nothing except writing stuff down in the book every day.
And they, sorry,
Will it be your drivers that do this logbook then?
oh, they'll have to, yes.
Yeah, it would be, we do it at Heritage. Every time that truck.
Oh, we have a record anyway. You'd have a record anyway of that probably.
So.
Fuel.
Sounds like a hell of
Because
a
he said, well, we have a record of the clear fuel, that's what's just put into that truck. But he said, since we haven't been keeping track of each truck, because we need to know, well, you'll see in the
Each
package,
individual.
they'll need to know each individual truck, so like with the license plate to make sure they're certified, emissions tests and all that other good stuff, right? But he said, since we only put it in the 4 plow trucks, he said, if we go back on our logbooks, he will actually, he comes and picks them up, right, Tanya? He comes and picks them up, so if we have 2 or 3 boxes of logbooks, which we do have quite a few of them, back like 4 years ago, he will take those himself, take them down to wherever he, Tilsonburg, that's what it is, and his team will go through it all, scan it all, and then bring them back. So.
Where does the tax rebate money come from?
Government.
Provincial government?
I'm gonna pick them up tomorrow.
Thank you. So everyone's in favor of doing go ahead or then?
I can't move forward with the
No.
resolution, so we told him that we would have the resolution if council was in agreement the next meeting. and then the paperwork all signed and everything ready to go.
So there's just an example why we go to these trade shows and conferences. Meet people with this, us.
Okay, so waste management report. Our cardboard compactor, we had to get a welder in a couple days ago. Well, we were working on today as well. So he came in yesterday as well. It's completed today. Garbage or the compactor, the cardboard compactor was shifted. The legs had broken, like rusted off or whatever. So it was kind of canted. So it was dangerous because of the electrical. So it's a 220 volt, I think it is. So I had to get an electrician in to come in and disconnect it, so it'll be safe, because once steel on steel, you know what's gonna happen. So we got that it's all hooked up, so we're good with that. So the garbage bins, they really need a lot of repairs. I have 2 bins sitting down there at GFL, empty ones. So I called her last week, I think it was Tuesday of last week, left a message to ask her to go ahead and fix those 2 ones down there, because they're saying that they're worried about the latches where you open the doors for the garbage to come out. They're worried about the latches, like they're being stretched. So I said, well, get somebody in to fix it. So, you know, it's safe, it's roadworthy, right? And we need it safe. And I called her today, left 2 messages. Darren texted one person and called her, and I still have no response. So at this point, I'm hoping that they'll return my phone call like tomorrow. I'll give them a shout again, but we have still a contingency plan put in place, kind of thing. So if need be, we'll have to put a dump truck there or something, kind of thing. And because so hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. So that's all we can do. Second Chance building is now, I don't know if anybody in council have been in there, but Second Chance building is moved now towards where the waste side attendant is. We took down that lean-to. It wasn't very safe to begin with. So we took down that lean-to because people were throwing in like couches and mattresses, and it's hard for the attendants there to watch everything. And it's just a lot of the stuff that people just don't want to pay for. But there is some stuff that's good. So at least they'll be able to monitor it a little bit better if it's closer to the site shack. So when you come up, there's this site shack on the right now, or the Second Chance on the right. And now we also moved the tires over, because the tires was behind the Second Chance building. It was so hard to see, so people were throwing just everything there. So that Second Chance building, the way it was set up, was kind of like, you can't see even at the demolition pile. So at least now you have a better idea. And once the summer student starts, it's going to be a lot better. We'll have 3 of them there. So like for the summertime, like so we've been contacted recently, with a company from Kingston. They're willing to pick up our tires. The depot before that we were using, they had a hard time getting back to me, and they would not pick them up if there was a little bit of dirt on them. So that's why we're kind of moving them over to as well. So, but now we have another company to kind of look after it, kind of thing. So, also there, where am I here? Oh, there's a local supplier that we have tires with rims on. We don't accept them because, like, how do we take the rims off the tire? So there's a local contractor that will take the tires with the rims. So once we get a chance, we'll clean all that mess up there. It's beside the demolition pile there. If you go in, you'll see the tires on the left. We'll try to clean that up. Other than that, the brush pile, I was talking to Bob Garrell there today, a fire chief. Hopefully tomorrow or Thursday, most likely, when it's raining, he's going to burn that brush pile at the landfill site. So that should be all cleaned up. Good to go. That's my report.
Anybody have a question? I just another question. I just want to make sure that you have sitting down cutting grass in that heat yesterday all day. Fantastic job. Unreal. They didn't even have to use the baler, so.
Yeah, because it was pretty thick.
Yeah, it was great.
Anybody else got anything? Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I just want to provide council with an update on the new Police Services Board, which is the PAC committee. So I attended a joint municipal meeting with the PAOs and clerks on May 30th. We have all appointed, so all of our respective townships have appointed a member of council to sit on the board. However, we're still waiting for a response from Pickwagon. The board is going to consist of 11 members in total, so 7 council representatives, 2 provincially appointed members, and 2 public members. So right now there is a quorum, so a meeting is going to be scheduled in the near future with all of the appointees and CAO clerks to approve the terms of reference, code and the code of conduct, and anything else that sort of needs to be situated. And then once the notification of the provincial representative is received, a meeting will be scheduled, and then a meeting schedule will be established. So then Councillor Brown will be able to report back as to how many meetings he's to expect, and so forth. Reimbursement of council representatives will be based on their respective council honorarium policies. Reimbursement of provincial and public members will be established at the meetings with everybody. Bonaire Valley is going to oversee the meeting reimbursements to the members and of the public and provincial. And they will invoice all the respective municipalities for their portion of the expense. It's not expected to have a full operating board until late fall, and the interim staff sergeant for Killaloe OPP has reached out for status and timelines and will be updated as the joint group receives information. And lastly, all members are required to take training. So Councillor Brown, you will be receiving an email with a link to the training, and you have until September 30th to complete. So if you like are having issues accessing it or anything that, just let me know and I can see if I can assist. And I think it takes somewhere from, I think it's up to 3 hours to complete, and it's all online. Okay. So that's it for the Police Services Board. And as a reminder, I just want to let council know that both myself and Deputy CAO Clerk Treasurer Charlene Lipinski will be away attending the ANCTO conference from June 9th to the 12th. We'll be back in the office on Thursday, June the 13th. And the last thing that I have in open is Colton, our new community development coordinator. He will be starting this Friday. We've mapped out sort of, what he's going to be doing while I'm away at the conference, but I would like to give him some time to settle in. So the next council meeting I'm suggesting that he attend would be the July 16th meeting, if council's okay with that. Because I believe he's going to have a lot of things on his plate right at the beginning. So my suggestion is to have him come to the July 16th meeting with a report for council.
Do we have any questions for Jonathan? Okay. Anybody, any committee reports?
Not committee reports, but the Township Emergency Management Committee. Which is Carol. We have to have a meeting with Bob in August. Sure what works for everybody. Way or something.
Whether the week of the Sunday the 18th on it, that's a
Very hot.
the Wednesday, the 21st.
Doc. That for you. Okay. So I'll probably Bob August the 21st. Want to do at 6, doesn't matter to me.
How's that look?
Good. 21st at 6.
Dave, also you suggested that you'd like to have a finance committee meeting on June 24th. That's the CRC AGM.
Okay, talk about 25. Tuesday.
June 25. I have no plans yet.
So instead of the 24th or 25th, the finance.
7,
June 25. 29. Are you guys still want to do the 7 or do you want it earlier?
7's good.
7. You've been lost for evenings or anything like that? Yeah, that works. The first one is Vanessa Nicholas. So Brian did, you mentioned that you really haven't seen anything after you came back from the roads. So I thought I'd give it the whole pamphlet that you can see.
Yeah.
And so the council could look at that, and if there's anything that you want me to bring back to the county, please let me know.
Did you attend the meeting this past week?
The inauguration?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I wasn't able to make that. The next one is the Hereford County Ultimate. The last release, response to the overdose alert. For your information. And we received the confirmation of the 2024 recommended action on the certificate of participation.
No, the email asking if we want to participate in the certificate. So council wants me to reply and say that we do. I can go ahead and do that. If council does not want to support that, that's fine. It's just they want to be notified if we want to for environmental action to.
Okay, good. Okay, guys.
Your cost to it?
Sounds good. Is Family and Children's Services, Renfrew County, notification to the AGM. Next one is Italian discussion of First Nations, maybe I do women everywhere. I mean, going to bylaws. Bylaws.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Maureen McMillan, that bylaw number 18/2024, being a bylaw to adopt all estimates of all sums required for municipal purposes during the year and to strike the rates of taxation for the year 2024 and to further provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for 2024 for the municipal corporation of the township of Pillsbury, Haverty, and Richards at its regular meeting held on June 4th, 2024, be given its first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 4th day of June 2024.
Questions or discussion? Haven't seen you. Push the vote forward, all those in favor. Carried. Unfinished business. Move on to new business. Oh. Yes, sir.
I'll bring another new business. Ottawa River Power is having their AGM meeting on the 27th of June. And I'm on the board, so I need you to approve the package. Don't stop. Okay, bye. I thought you should bring it up to the new business stuff. Okay. That's it.
Just never mind.
We're maybe when we're gonna do it. We're coming to it.
Will be discussed when closed.
Okay.
Well, okay, Tim, your first one.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Brian Kosky, that pursuant to section 2, subsection 1, Ontario Regulation 28409, Municipal Act 2001, Council for the Township of Killow, Hagerty, and Richards hereby adopts the Ontario Regulation 28409 report as attached as approval for the exclusion of amortization expenses in the 2024 budget for the Township of Killow, Hagerty, and Richards.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor? Carried.
Just the Round Lake Property Owners Association has invited the mayor to attend their AGM. So that's been provided, so if council's agrees with that, then Mayor Nito can attend.
All those in favor?
Are you in favor?
Next one is CRC.
So
Is that
declaring.
So I'm Maureen McMillan, declare conflict with the CRC to use Station Park for its seniors programming. And I, Bill Smith, declare conflict with the CRC request to use Station Park for seniors programming.
I'm good.
So basically, these are during the day. I'm assuming.
So they're going to coordinate around our stuff.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't conflict with our stuff.
Any other questions? All in favor? Carried.
The only thing that I was gonna just suggest is that they fill out just the usage facility, doesn't cost anything, just so that they can provide us with the dates and times, just in case there's a schedule conflict.
Yeah, yeah. I notified Bob that the next week you'll have some.
I mean,
That was a long time coming.
Does anyone else have any items?
I have a lot, I have a list.
15 minutes.
Okay. Okay, the park drinking bylaw. Oh,
You're okay?
okay, the park drinking bylaw, where are we at that for the Irish gathering with being able to carry alcohol within the park limits?
I have a comment on that. So I was speaking with Jim Homer, he approached me, he's the head of the Lions, he's the president of the Lions and controls the bar. He's very uncomfortable with the concept of having alcohol, with the Lions serving alcohol and then people being able to carry alcohol anywhere in the park. As soon as the Lions are serving alcohol, then we're responsible for everyone who's drinking, and if they're doing it in an caged area, then that's a responsibility that we're very concerned about. The Lions are concerned.
Yeah, you'd have to have someone policing it.
I don't know that the Lions would have the ability to.
No, I'm just saying that I think that if it was in the park, it'd be our responsibility than if they're drinking in the park. I don't.
So are we gonna put this to rest? I just wanna know where it's at, just put this to rest for this year.
I think in light of that, that would be my suggestion too. What you guys.
I think leave it just the same as it was.
I think what Ted suggested previously, I don't know what his thinking is now, is that the caged area would be within the park.
Okay, that's a reasonable.
Rather than on Gravis Country property.
So we could just make it bigger, maybe with make that area just bigger.
Or maybe instead of past the cage.
Yeah, well, could we extend it with like barricades or something past the cage so that you're in the park, but that area is still kind of like sequestered somehow? Is that a possibility?
I think what Bill was saying, that would have to be monitored by the Lions Club.
No, but it wouldn't be that much further past it would just be so that those people would be able to be within, like, just, I don't know how many feet that would have to be brought out to make that a possibility if it was barricaded. So you're still within an area, is that a possibility then?
I think it's a possibility if it's within in a caged area.
But we still have to amend our alcohol policy too.
No. So our alcohol bylaw indicates that, situations as this, if council deems that, if they want to follow through with it, then, it's council's decision that if they want to extend to allow for that to happen, the bylaw allows for that.
Okay, so is that, can we look at that and maybe bring it,
Yeah, at least look and see what we.
what the possibilities are?
Yeah,
That,
it
that the
sounds-
Lions would be comfortable with.
Yeah,
Okay.
So,
Wilma did that,
Hmm?
for a weekend in Wilma. They had it at the park. They extended with, what are those gates called? You know, your road barriers. They moved that out, but they had not security, but people on the upper limit. saying,
Yeah.
You gotta stay inside, you gotta stay inside, you know.
Yeah.
People wanted to go beyond, like to get a hot dog or whatever. They wanted to take their drink, so they had people that said, no, you can't, you have to. So that's,
I mean, I'd have to take that back to Jim, he runs the bar, I think that the township would need to provide that, whatever that barrier is,
Yeah,
that wouldn't be on the lines.
yeah.
So what's the other option? If we don't extend it, they're
Just stay on the.
still having the
Just stay in the
cage.
cage,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, I just like to see it open up, because I think people would have.
yeah, well, then they might stay too for like that.
Like
portion
last
where
year, I
there's-
had a few years in the compound too, but. Problem is, you can't see the stage, you're sort of at a different spot, right?
Yeah,
Okay, well, maybe we can with.
If we
yeah,
look
investigate
into
some
it
possibilities.
anyways. Like, we don't wanna, again. We don't wanna be putting up great big barricades in there either, right? It takes away from the atmosphere of the park.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Maybe we will have to leave it for another year. See. if we can finish it.
Well, I think it's worth investigating. We'll talk to Jim, see what his comfort level is
Yeah.
and come back, we'll come back with something
Yeah.
and just
sounds
see. I just wanted to know, oh. What's up here? Oh, yes, there's a pile of dirt at Pathways Park that is really, to me, taking away from the aesthetics of the park, and I don't know what can be done. I don't know if you've driven in, there's that big pile, it's like the gravel they used to.
so
put aside.
that's not fresh gravel.
So what is that? Can we spread it?
it's for the walkways.
Yeah, it's just sitting there, it really just takes away from the aesthetic, like it looks unfinished and
I think
unkept.
we got it in when it flooded that section of
Uh-huh.
the trail.
So I'm just wondering if something could be done
Well,
with
I'm
it.
sure. If we talk to Dean, sometime they're down to Loader, they could. Move it somewhere where it's sort of.
Uh-huh.
Put it on the trails.
Yeah, it just doesn't look nice, so can we give direction to Dean maybe to look into that, to do something with that? Is everyone okay with that?
To move or place on the trails.
I'd
To
say.
consider what could be done.
What could be done,
If you
yeah,
Let him decide.
I'm not sure if they have the right piece of equipment to put it on the trail.
You need a, what do you call
How
it?
big of a mound is it?
oh, it's like above, it might be above my head,
Is
like.
it something if we had 4 or 5
I think it's
volunteers?
like, it's pretty,
No, they must have added some more.
yeah, I don't know, it's like, it's not huge,
Yeah,
it just takes away.
Yeah.
You're short, Marty.
Yeah.
It's my night.
But if it needed to be spread. If we had 3 or 4 volunteers with my bike and trailer,
Uh-huh,
we could probably, like, I'd be willing to help spread it out.
okay, awesome. It just, yeah, it's just, to me, when I drive in, it looks unfinished, it doesn't look like the nice park that I think it.
I'm not sure if the reasoning was to keep it there for a later time, if they needed it at certain areas.
Well, maybe we can check in with the Board of Pathways to see if there's a purpose for it, and if not, we can do
You might
something
have
with
it
it.
there for a reason, yeah.
Yeah, cause I know the signage is coming and that was a thought, but I didn't know, but to me, it just like,
Who's
To
on
my eye,
board there, yeah.
it'd be Kathy and Chris.
Yeah, but it would be I think it would be a roads department to. Yeah,
Who would know,
they'd be the likely people to be able to decide what to do with it.
okay. Okay, so we just have some direction to see what can be done with this.
So am I reaching out to the board to inquire as to what it's for?
Maybe reach out to D might know all of this information, and if not, then maybe reach out to the board. That would be my sense of what to do. I just want to talk, it's with Sergeant coming online today, that we're actually having naloxone training at the food bank for anybody who's interested during the food bank hours from 2 to 4. The watershed workers are coming over and they're going to be offering that as well as kits to anybody who wants. So just a really interesting opportunity for people.
And those kits have an expiry date, like.
They do, and so that's my next thing. So that date, it's gonna be June the 11th at 12 North in the back. They're gonna be set up in the back by the food bank. And it's for anybody who's interested in learning. So come back
June 11 at what time?
between 2 to 4.
Did we not put those in our?
Well, this is my next thing, is that I wanted to check to make sure that the kits that we have are up to date and they haven't expired. So I thought it would be a good time to check.
Fire trucks or.
Right, no, my question was, are they close to being expired?
Everybody's up to them.
Yeah, but that's my next thing, is that I think the kits maybe should be checked to see what the expiry dates are and order new ones if necessary. Especially for our community development. The people who are going out to all the events and things, that might be important for them to know how to use them and that one.
Did we, our roads, did we put those in their trucks also?
Council had discussed it in the past that it happened, but when Chris was looking into it, we couldn't get them from the health unit, nor we could get them from the pharmacy, so they were not given to the roads department.
Okay, does the community development person have one? No,
They didn't get any.
okay, so Colton might want to, he could come down on the 11th, get one. And get some training on how to use it. I think the big piece is the training, from what I understand, they want people to be trained to know how to use them.
Yeah.
That's kind of the piece that I,
It's a really simple training. It's very quick.
yeah,
So you can just show up anytime, it's not like a sit down training seminar.
Correct.
You just
Yeah, you show up,
they
they're gonna
give
show you.
5-minute training and.
Yeah.
You're
All
on your
staff
way.
there are trained. That's part of our CPR and AED training.
okay.
So also, before we leave this, can we also find out from Bob? When we've got those others for the fire department? See if they've expired.
Sure, it keeps it on.
Imagine the fire department has that estimated.
Okay, you're at 1,000, keep going.
Oh, I'm pretty good.
I've got just one, Albert.
Marina.
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good.
Okay, though.
I'd like council to consider continuing what we started last year and flying the pride flag at town hall for the month of June. I'd also like to ask Tammy, if council's okay with it, to prepare proper resolution for a future meeting so that this is just, we don't have to give direction every year, that staff can just go ahead and do it.
I thought when we passed a resolution last year that was.
I think we
The
did.
continuous thing.
So I'd like to correct that by getting a proper resolution at a future meeting, but also to make the decision for this time.
All those in favor? 1, 2. Better see it. Everybody have their hand?
Yeah. Enough of this, man.
And in regards to that resolution, to ensure that it's ongoing as opposed to.
Yeah.
We'll have that in for the next meeting. Okay.
Thank you. I'm done.
Anything from this side? No? I have
Great that you took enough time.
I have 3 items. First one is, Will mentioned to me prior to our last meeting that our previous CEO had done a reconciliation of the Kilwool area taxation system about 5 years ago. Personally, I think it's time for an updated report to be presented to council at our next regular council meeting, June 18th. A lot has happened in 5 years. Council, your thoughts?
Best to do this report.
Step.
We're away all next week.
It's stuff, it's time we need for this, we gotta stop with it.
What's the report on?
The preliminary taxation system. So what they do is take the revenues and calculate and then take the expenses and just make sure that the rate is within.
I would suggest that,
So it's done 5 years ago.
but I would suggest that if we can have that done before the next budget process, because it's not gonna affect this budget at all. This budget's from last year, this year. So as long as we have it done for our next budget. She can bring to the next meeting, it's not gonna change anything today.
Well, it's not gonna change the budget now.
No, so we have it ready before our next budget. Next year. The next year's budget. So that's some changes.
Okay. Personally, I don't think we should wait that long. I think we need to see and update that list.
It's not gonna do us any
But
good.
what's it, that's gonna do though, it's not gonna change anything, it's not gonna change taxation for this year at all.
Okay, I'll buy that.
I agree, it has to be.
It has to be, it has to be done. So by the end of the year. Can we do that?
For the next budget.
By the end of this year.
Yeah, is that people with that?
Is that something you could do, Dave? Or does it have to be done by the staff?
No, it has to be done by staff.
Yeah.
I think the mayor or the chair of finance shouldn't technically be doing any of this stuff. Because we're the elected. Number 2. I would like staff to prepare a document to be mailed out outlining the facts regarding the tax increase. I think council should review this document at our next regular council meeting, June 18th, prior to it being mailed out. Again, council, your thoughts. So we should do a mail out to all the taxpayers, explaining the 17% increase. What took place, why it took place, etc. etc.
Can we not put something like that in our newsletter?
I don't think previous councils have ever done something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's,
You don't think it's a good idea?
what's the difference if it's 5% and 17? You're gonna explain it every year. It's the budget, that balance the budget. Everyone knows.
I'm just putting it out, that the letter.
I
might be a
think it's
good
just-
thing at this time.
I know I'm getting lots of calls, so they don't, a lot of them know about it already.
I think the newspapers did a really good job.
Yeah,
of
Yeah,
explaining it.
exactly.
And you had your post online too with a lot of information. I think a lot of that's been, a lot of it has been shared.
I just don't want to miss anything.
Yeah,
You know, I just want to make sure everyone's on the same.
Well, 90% of the people that are complaining about the 17% tax rate complain that it was 1%, so that's not good. You people know it's there, so. You know, so
Okay, next one. Again, I'm gonna throw this out, like to see, have a public meeting. Preferably at the Lions Club, week of June 24th. With our water and sewer users to discuss the current situation in the future. I'd be happy to help staff coordinate this meeting, plus I'm sure any counselors that would want to will step up and assist.
What's the purpose of the meeting, Dave?
To explain to them our current situation in regards to, and it was a 5-year plan that we'll present. A 5-year plan, explain to them what's gonna happen, that 10% increases every year. And just to give them facts and figures and.
I think a different approach might be an article in the newsletter. I remember when there was something put in the newsletter when they. About the previous 5-year plan that we had, that we don't have.
Was there?
Mhm.
You guys remember that?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
We always provide a public notice, which
Yeah.
is working on that, indicates all of that information on there.
So,
Goes to anybody that, if it goes to the village, it could go to whoever has that water switch.
So basically, that's gonna cover what I was, that's, that's a very good. So it would be in the newsletter. And where else?
It gets mailed to every individual that is on water or sewage. It gets
Well,
posted. It's still on the website right now. It's posted on the website. It's, we put it on social media.
So there's no surprises to anybody in the village, everyone's. Okay, good. Good, okay. Ready to vote? Motion.
Moved by Brian Kukowski, second by Maureen McMillan, be it resolved that council may to close meeting for section 239 of Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons. Personal matters that an identifiable individual, plural or multiple board employees, labor relations or employee negotiation, information explicitly supplied in confidence to the municipality or board by Canada, province or territory or crown agency of any of them.
All in favor? Carried.
The door will not be on door.
No. This is going to take me a minute, so bear with me.